Welcome on the show, of course. It's Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa on a Tuesday morning. Too many things to discuss today. The second story actually almost has something to do with me. I almost went through a thing like that too. We'll talk about that later, okay? But meanwhile, my name is Wale Scott. Welcome on the show. Mukhail Tinubu, good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Super Eagles head coach Gernot Rohr has selected Captain Ahmed Musa, Deputy Captain William Troost Ekong, and homeboys John Noble and Anayo Iwala among the 24 Super Eagles who will do battle with five-time African champions Cameroon in a prestige friendly in Austria on Friday next week. The list also has goalkeepers Maduka Okoye, Francis Uzoho, defenders Olaino and Chidozie Awaziem, midfielders Wilfred Ndidi, Abdullahi Shehu, and forwards Victor Osimhen, Kelechi Iheanacho, Moses Simon, and Simi Nwakwa. Now, Turkey-based former under-20 defender Valentine Ozuruwafor, Denmark-based midfielder Frank Onyeka, and Lorient FC of France's Terem Murphy are also included. Nigeria, who have won the African Cup of Nations 3 times but have been bumped by Cameroon in the final of the competition on 3 other occasions, defeated the indomitable Lions 3-0 in a friendly in Belgium in October 2015 and have not lost to the Lions in regulation time since a 1990 FIFA World Cup qualifier in Yaoundé on 27th August 1989. I watched the Super Eagles play against Ukraine in a friendly. I watched them play against Brazil in a friendly. And the guys who actually gave me, for me, a run for my money, and the guys actually gave the Ukrainian team and Brazilian team a lot of problems was Chukwueze and Aribo. They were always on the run. They carry a bike and they just run past you. And yes, you can say it's just a friendly, but I'm actually thinking that Rohr should be building a first 11 by now.
Well, whether or not the coach should be building a first 11 is, I don't think, is as relevant in modern football when you consider that when you go into competition, you're thinking of rotation. Every manager contemplates rotation based on the simple fact that these players are playing 40 to 60 games a season in Europe. And by the time they get to Africa, get to play some competition for Africa, for Nigeria, there's plenty of exhaustion and fatigue to go around. And every manager worth his salt needs to consider that as part of his tactical considerations.
I come to think of it, Chukwueze, just back from injury, should be in tomorrow's match. And so that might be a problem for Gernot Rohr.
Well, will he be in tomorrow's match?
Yeah. We're not sure yet.
Yes. But even if he does, the manager might choose to manage his minutes. It is a friendly after all. And we'll
tomorrow's match is Villarreal against...
yes. Well, the manager will want to win the game, obviously.
No doubt.
But if he's not going to start the game, then he has nothing to worry about. But if he does, the manager will still want to manage his minutes to get the best out of him. And maybe go all attack at the very beginning, maximize his usefulness, and then withdraw him if they can get a goal early enough in the game.
Okay, this particular story almost comes close to me. I wasn't here yesterday. And then when I read you the story, you understand where I'm coming from. Now, former Nigeria's under-23 striker, Ibezito Ogbonna, recently escaped death by the whiskers as his house in Israel was hit by a rocket fired by Gaza. Ogbonna was injured when the rocket hit the house, leveling it to the ground. The 30-year-old, who won the Israeli Cup with Hapoel Tel Aviv twice, was at home with his wife and 2 young daughters when the building suffered a direct hit. His family were unhurt, but Ogbonna was injured and taken to hospital following injuries sustained during the explosion. That was part of a recent 11-day escalation in violence between Israel and Gaza. He said he was extremely lucky to be alive after the rocket was fired, and that it was his 3rd time lucky for him after being involved in a car crash and a horrible robbery incident in Nigeria. He said he was thrown into the air, that it took him from his dining room to his living room. According to him, he could see glasses and other objects flying around him as he hit the ground. Fantastic striker for the under-23. His house suffered a direct hit. Luckily, he was the only one injured. 2 daughters and his wife were well. He's doing well now, but he says this happened after he survived a car accident in Nigeria, and some other things, and then he goes back to his base, to Hapoel Tel Aviv. He's won 2 major trophies for them, twice, and this is what he goes to meet again in Gaza.
Well,
in Israel, that is.
When we watch football, when we watch footballers play football and entertain us, it's easy to forget that football still exists in the real world.
True.
We try to keep it away from the politics of the day. We try to forget our issues and the things that ail us.
And football can do that.
That's the beauty of it. But these people still have to, these footballers still have to live in the real world. And real world consequences still have impacts on their lives. I remember the year that Mukhail Tinubu's dad got kidnapped.
Yeah.
These people, especially when you consider that no matter where you go in the world.
3-4 years ago, Samson Siasia's mom was kidnapped.
So no matter where you go in the world, even as a footballer, there's always a possibility you're going to suffer some kind of family tragedy. And it always surprises us as the audience that these people are still, with all the money, with all the exclusivity of the lifestyle they live, they still suffer these problems as well. And I hope he gets better soon. I hope he's fit and able to carry on with the work he does.
Yeah, he does,
because he's important to his family, his community, and to the country.
True that. Let's go to the match for tomorrow. Everyone is talking about it. Now, Manchester United face Villarreal in the Europa League final, having gone through plenty of emotions en route to Wednesday night's encounter in Gdansk. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side entered the competition at the knockout stage after the frustration of finishing third in their Champions League group behind Paris Saint-Germain and RB Leipzig. After beating Real Sociedad in the last 32, a fine 1-0 win at Milan sent them into the quarterfinals. Granada were easily disposed of in the last 8 before a wild semi-final with Roma, where United came from 2-1 down to win the first leg 6-2, eventually going through 8-5 on aggregates. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's men. And we have no idea. What do we expect tomorrow?
Well, you know, Man United have a history of not doing too well against Spanish teams, whether it's in Europa or in Champions League. I think the clash of football styles always surprises Man United. But Solskjaer is a winner. I hate to say it as a Chelsea fan, but he has really stabilized the club. The management's position is now secure. The team is playing well, and they finished the season second. Next season, we can only expect that they will do better. But Villarreal will also be pushing.
But I hate to say this too, as a Man U fan. I've always told people that, as far as I am concerned, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the coach of Man U. He's never been the coach of Man U because he's going for major matches. His entourage have Alex Ferguson in it, have Carrick in it. I've all said it's a boardroom of coaches, really. Yes,
but is there really anything wrong in having someone in charge who can carry on the spirit that Ferguson laid?
Yeah.
The foundation is hard to replace. The problem with any club moving on from a very successful era is that there's always the possibility that while you're trying to replace certain personnel, you are also inevitably replacing the value system that has brought all the success for years. Is there any reason that we should be upset with Solskjaer having all of Ferguson's backup available to him to manage and tinker and help him get the best out of the boys? We saw what happened with Moyes, we saw what happened with Van Gaal, and even to a certain point, we saw what happened to Mourinho. It was hard to bring the same value system to the players because each manager had a different idea of how to get the best out of the players. But at Man U, players were coming just for a paycheck. Players were no longer playing for the color, for the badge. And that's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer offers.
Represents, Man City midfielder Ikay Gundogan has spoken of his high regard for his former coach, Thomas Tuchel, ahead of their Champions League final with Chelsea. The German international was at Dortmund when Tuchel arrived as Jurgen Klopp's replacement and said that Tuchel exceeded his expectations, teaching him a lot. Gundogan believes increased defensive stability is what makes this City side stand out from previous teams that have failed to reach the final, and is delighted fans will present, albeit in reduced numbers, in Porto. Now, will this be a plus or a minus, considering Gundogan will be going up against the coach he's been under for a while, before now?
Well, I mean, it's been a while since that happened. This will be, this was Gundogan's 5th season at Man City. So there is an order of separation from how long ago it was that he got managed by Tuchel. The question I have is whether there will be any pressure on the players, given that this is the biggest stage, and now they're going to play it in front of fans. Will there be, we saw throughout the season that even away games, teams that came to play in the opposition's home stadium, they didn't have as much problem playing their game because there wasn't as much pressure from the fans. Whether both managers will have a real impact on the game on the day is left to be decided. Yeah,
the good news is we know this already, but we have to flog it. Most Man City fans insist I flog it. Man City manager Pep Guardiola was named League Managers Association's Manager of the Year for leading his side to their 3rd Premier League title in 4 years. City finished 12 points ahead of second-placed Man United and also won a 4th consecutive League Cup, beating Tottenham Hotspur 1-0 at Wembley in April. Guardiola's team take on Chelsea in the Champions League final on Saturday. The Spaniard has been awarded the honor for the 2nd time, having previously been recognized during City's record-breaking 2017-2018 campaign, where they won the league title and became the first top-flight club to record 100 points. And most people say we're not surprised. Who else should have won it?
I mean, they basically ran away with the league once January came around.
Yeah.
I say the league, no matter where in the world, is a marathon. And though they started poorly, but everyone else fell off. They played better than everybody else, but I think the question has to still be asked, where were all the people, where were all the teams that were supposed to be competitive towards till the very end? Man United was never given any chance to compete, but they finished in 2nd, but they were far from the eventual winners. Liverpool, who came off of the back of a strong 2-year campaign, fell off completely. It was like exhaustion finally caught up to them. Chelsea, who were given all the hope that because of a over £200 million splurge in the summer, were going to compete, couldn't make it happen. And honestly, I always thought that was supposed to be a transitional season. But Man City still had to do the work. Their defensive organization this season, compared to last season, was miles better, was way, way better. And that's the thing that has been missing from Man City for a number of years. They've spent over £400 million on the defense, just trying to find the right. And Stones is finally living up to his potential and will be guaranteed starting regularly in Euros. So he deserves it. There's nothing else you can say.
This particular story we have to explain first. Now, Pep Guardiola says he couldn't care less about the choice of Spain's Antonio Matthew Lahoz as the referee for the Champions League final, despite his role in previous exits from the competition. Lahoz has awarded 3 penalties against City in past encounters, sending his countrymen to the stands in City's quarterfinal, lost to Liverpool, and also been in charge of their 2017 exit against Monaco. Now, it's believed for some reason it's just ill luck. Some say this guy just doesn't like Guardiola. But whatever happens, every time Guardiola's in the final and this guy is the referee, as far as Guardiola is concerned, something always goes wrong. But this time he says, I'm cool with it. Let him be the referee. It's all right. I'll come there, play my game, and win. And he won't put any drama in my victory.
Well, the UEFA, FA, they all insist on a respect model for the referees. I think the referees are humans as well and can be open to bias. I've sat on during many games screaming at the referee But as the manager, his responsibility is to remain focused on the squad,
Yeah.
not the referee, because he can't control that aspect. But on the bigger stage, if the referee does make mistakes that are plain and obvious, we will not hear the end of it.
The world will get involved in it. Now, Chelsea head coach Thomas Tuchel sounded hopeful about the fitness of both Edouard Mendy and N'Golo Kante ahead of Saturday's UEFA Champions League final against Man City in Porto. Goalkeeper Mendy collided with a post during Sunday's 2-1 defeat to Aston Villa, with the damage not thought to be serious, while midfielder Kante is expected to return to training on Wednesday, having sat out the Premier League clash due to a hamstring complaint. Tuchel urged his players to be full of joy in what could possibly be the most exciting week of their professional lives, and hopes his side can push the tide of luck and destiny in their favor to claim Europe's biggest prize. Matthew Kovacic is desperate to play a role in the showpiece, having been part of 3 Champions League winning squads for Real Madrid without featuring in any of the finals. Now, N'Golo Kante has been mercurial for Chelsea in the past few months, and to have him in that squad will be fantastic for Chelsea. Edouard Mendy, 30 games, about only getting like 3 or 4 goals in. I think those two really have to be in that finals. If Chelsea have to have that extra cutting edge against Man City, they have to be there.
I think for N'Golo Kante, we cannot state enough the importance he brings to the squad. The fact is, in my personal opinion, while other players get all the praise for being the more flashy, the more headline-grabbing players, N'Golo Kante is the superstar for that team. It's very rare that a defensive midfielder is given so much praise and recognition for his work, no matter who you are. Even the likes of Javier Mascherano back in the day, Xabi Alonso, all those players were quality. Sergio Busquets, quality player, but I don't think we've seen any defensive midfielder as strong as Kante since Makelele.
Yeah. Okay, now European soccer's governing body, UEFA, unveiled the trophy for their new Europa Conference League competition on Monday. Now, UEFA President Alexander Seferin said the new tournament was designed to give clubs from smaller nations a chance to European silverware. The Europa Conference League will be Europe's 3rd-tier club competition behind the Champions League and the Europa League. Its matches will be played on Thursdays alongside Europa League games. Now, the trophy consists of 32 curved hexagonal spines, one representing each team qualifying for the group stages of the competition. UEFA says the curves represent the ball's swerving trajectory as it swerves towards the goal. Weighing 11 kilograms and measuring 57.5 centimeters in height, the trophy's base and top are made from hand-brushed brass with a metal galvanic steel effect, while its spines have a glossy silver finish to them. The new competition will share much of the same branding as the Europa League, including its anthem. The final will be played in the Albanian capital Tirana on May 25th, 2022. Fantastic news. Now, some countries or clubs who never felt we would ever get involved in winning trophies in our entire life. Our football team is not good. Just might have a chance to win.
Honestly, I am a cynic about this whole thing. We saw the uproar when the ESL, the European Super League, was being talked about. And that wasn't even a finished product. That wasn't even the final thing. That was basically a proposal as far as we were concerned. And we saw the uproar. Now, this new competition just seems like a way to make more money, but at the same time to pat certain teams on the back for continuing to be loyal to UEFA. I don't really feel, I mean, we'll see whether it's something worth watching, and we'll certainly see if people find it entertaining enough to tune in regularly every Thursday as opposed to watching Europa.
Now, this is the good thing that sports does. Poland's sports city of Gdansk is preparing for teams and supporters of Spain's Villarreal and England's Manchester United to arrive for the Europa League final set to be played in the city's stadium on Wednesday evening. Now, flags and decorations were seen across the city's historic Old Town and along major streets as match day approached. A giant replica of the Europa League trophy was unveiled on Saturday in the Old Town, with many residents gathering there to take pictures. Restaurants, terraces and beer gardens have opened since May 15th in Poland as part of a relaxation of COVID-19 restrictions. Supporters will also be able to gather in fan zones located at either end of the Old Town. The final will be held at the city's Stadium Majeski at a stadium capacity of 25%, with both finalists receiving 2,000 tickets each and 2,000 tickets to be offered to the general public. The remaining tickets will be allocated to the local organizing committee, UEFA and national associations, commercial partners, and broadcasters. 10 days of quarantine and multiple COVID-19 tests have discouraged some of the most engaged Man United supporters from planning a trip. Now, this is what sports can do. A country like, a city like Gdansk will just be seen in the map, in school somewhere for all we care. But sports takes you there. You know, whether you're on TV watching, whether you are going to go there yourself, sports will get you there.
Well, I wonder whether in a few years the population of students there will be asked on tests. When was the first Champions League, Europa League final held in this town? It's always good news, and football, at the very least, it will bring some revenue to the area.
No doubt.
To bring some popularity to the area, and perhaps in the future will also be available for considerations for future matches.
Okay, now in the NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks blew away the defending Eastern Conference champions, the Miami Heat, to open up a 2-0 lead in their NBA playoff series. The Heat never recovered. The Eastern Conference defending champions, Miami Heat, and it was all Antetokounmpo, Giannis, all the way.
The Miami Heat is actually my team.
Wow.
I love them. I've always loved them from the moment Shaq went there.
Yeah.
And occasionally I still follow them because I know I can't follow them every game, but this game, I really didn't see it coming. To be honest, I kept thinking right to the third quarter that we were going to come back.
And also the show this morning.
Thank you for having
me. Sosa, thank you very much for being behind the scenes. Sonny, thank you very much. Gernot, same time, tomorrow, same station. My name is Wale Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.